Hello, welcome to I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It, where we discuss myriads of topics civilly, reasonably, and responsibly. My name is Kevin Dufresne. Our first topic is about funding. For mental health professionals, when the funding stoppage begins for an area of concern, which is growing more apparent, though always is present, even through documenting historically, whether through stories or evidential backings of qualitative and quantitative progress. The reality of addressing what is becoming more apparent, more so at the forefront, especially as a mysterious pathway of which scientists, researchers, and developers are attempting to acknowledge biologically in ways socially through dynamics of which might be of neurological concerns, through myriad ways. The progressions necessitating the deliberating minds of which are of not only experience, though of awareness of prevailing knowledge, as well as knowledge of which is beneficial, furthering comprehensions as well as development of the psychological realms, of the mental health dimensions. Proper attention is necessary to maintain as well as to grow, to ensure the proper benefits of the developments of the research are growing and happening well for future endeavors of individuals that may benefit from these developments, from these furtherings. So with funding stoppage, one may address the different dynamics of which may be affecting the funding, with consideration of what may seem bias funding may find different attention, find what is most appropriate to navigate toward ensuring funding is supporting what is fundamentally sound with progressing the field in myriad ways, not only of a way or so which an entity might feel is best without proper evidential support. The dynamics of the field need to be informing the growth without bias, considering the progressions of which the funding might be engaging with, technologically encroaching upon details that benefit individuals' awareness so as to ensure proper human growth without negligence due to bias, due to any parameter of what may be seemingly salient as retaliative, is extremely important. So future generations may find pathways of growth that are not only the silos of research and development, though are branching from the progress from research and development to ensure individuals move forward through life, grow through life with more sound scientific backings efficacious toward dynamics of a better life, a healthier life of healthful progressions, especially considering other dynamics at play of technological advancement that may be affecting individuals' growth. Our next topic regards how ICE may be engaging with educational environments and how an educator may respond to such a situation. There are many ways to be a social advocate without feeling as though one's life is going to receive threatening. The backlash of an individual's environment due to one's external progressions is what may be of a lack of educational awareness, a lack of legal awareness, which may actually not receive fair justification through parameters of which one may be experiencing the retaliative behavior. Now, to be mindful of what the status quo may represent in contrast to what is most relevant to better human growth will differ. When considering who ICE may be detaining, there may be situations where one feels there is pure justification. Though, when youth are at the blunt edge of any political situation, which many political situations do involve youth, which considers youth as only human beings, which is a dynamic that receives huge political play, these dynamics of these situations prove problematic for comprehensions as well as legal parameters. The reality of engaging with any form of social activism is social activism really operates in line with one's right to protest. Now, one may be doing so in one's life in a way that may not be conflicting, may not even be of attachment to a different area of one's life, though one might receive backlash. The article mentions a timeline which involves waiting. Not to judge any individual, every individual situation may prove different, though of human regards, when an individual is in a situation to address what may be of the status quo, which is always changing. The status quo is always changing and is culturally reliant, not only geographically reliant, it is culturally reliant, because considering the globalization, cultures align differently, especially with mass communication, cultures align differently. So culture breaches geographical dimensions. So when an individual is approaching dynamics of a status quo, which may change from block to block, house to house, the reality is one must be aware of what one is vying for. What is one fighting for? What does one believe in? One must be aware of one's values. The status quo throughout history is not always good. The establishment of many modern instances does not come from a good background of only good status quo. There are individuals that operate with what is objectively bad. What one is believing in, the values one holds, these are dynamics which need proper attention. If one is not finding a way to be active in the dynamics of which one believes, then one may not rise to what one needs to rise to. Consider how individuals fight against enslavement. Not every individual, if in that situation, is going to fight for everyone's human rights, for civil rights, for women's rights. Though individuals may benefit from the fight. In a civil society, individuals may operate with multi-stability. One person may believe in what one believes in, one may believe in what one believes in, and individuals may be able to live together without encroaching on each other's lives in a way that is breaching, harmful, somewhat like conquering, in a way that may be harmful to another. There are dynamics to consider. Not every culture, not every status quo is harmful, though not every individual will subscribe to a culture to any degree. Similarly with an individual engaging in status quo. They just might not subscribe to dynamics of any of the cultures, of any of the status quo to any degree. Which does not mean that the individuals may have to find disagreements. One may live one's life, continuing on, similarly with how one goes to a film, observes a film, goes home, or wherever one will go. The idea is, when addressing what is happening with immigrants, what is happening in an educational environment, what is happening in a work environment, as we see the government is really engaging with so many different dynamics of which affect how individuals are seeking to live. Now, no government is to be responding in ways that are retaliative, especially with regard to the government's constituents. The reality of the dynamics at play are not in alignment with what is of legal dynamics, in alignment with human rights, with the rights that individuals prior fight for. Now, extremism is not to be of light comprehensions. One must be extremely mindful of extremism, though there are many dynamics at play of which individuals need to be considering. What is the modern stance? What culture am I observing? What degree of a culture might I be observing? What am I really assessing against what is already present? So individuals might feel a sense of shock. Whoa, a child is no longer in school against protections because of a government situation. What am I to do now? Now one has to address, what is one's purpose even in the environment? What is one's purpose beyond the environment with regard to what is going on? And what is the bigger picture of which these details coincide with? And how is that relevant to one's life in terms of how does one value what is happening? As well as, what does one's life mean through all these different levels? There are psychological dynamics that individuals may consider, of which receive evidential support of how lives may shift between being at work, being outside of work. And these psychological dynamics do require proper attention, because long-term health for some individuals, by surprise, short-term situations, will bring to attention what life means and how one measures one's life. What is one's life today versus one's life in the mysterious tomorrow, in the mysterious next second? These are considerations that are necessary to address. Beyond fear, individuals need to acknowledge these dynamics, because the status quo is of so much variance, and the status quo is constantly changing. And the status quo is not representative of what will always be. What are the values that individuals seek to support? It's quite interesting to think that one may be able to count time ahead for a certain amount. There is a level of confidence there to believe in that. To believe that there will be time ahead, that I will be able to do this. That's a goal-setting mindset. Though the real consideration is, alongside that, of which one might be fighting for, hoping for, what is one engaging with that does not have the same time frame of consideration, the same hope to operate with, because the now necessitates proper attention. To imagine individuals saying, oh, yeah, 30 years later we'll fight for it. 40 years later we'll fight for it. Not judging anyone that's saying that. To say, imagine that situation, their energy alignment. What else is in operation with regard to now? Everyone's situation is different. Though I bring up that situation of human rights, civil rights, women's rights, which somehow is separate from these situations, which is already something to consider. Not saying that every woman is good, though, to observe the objectively good so as to uplift the objectively good and still implement dynamics of the objectively good for the future generations. It is to say that not everyone will move beyond to discover beyond for future generations, beyond what one might be already hoping for. Though may benefit from what individuals are fighting for, individuals are engaging with, so as to improve future generations. The dynamics of social, economic progressions are quite interesting. Of course, all of these dynamics operate with psychological dynamics, of which necessitate great attention. All right, let's do some origami. Now, today's origami will be with this square sheet of paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half one time. And we're going to fold it in half again. And we're going to unravel it. So we'll be looking at it like this. Next, we're going to fold it in half the adjacent way. Now these lines look a little bit thicker than in the instructions, so I'm going to just fold them again all the way through. Next, just re-establish that adjacent fold. Now, just gonna fold one of these back. So pick the top one or the other side, but just fold the flat back of the one of many. And then we're gonna fold it in from a point. So bring that point down to alignment, and the other way to see it is here. Fold this point down to alignment. Okay. All right, from here, we're actually going to fold this triangle portion down. So you want to fold it down to about the second line. So from the second line down, so there's a little line here, a little line here, hold it down to this second line, this line, then that line. All right, right there. Next, from here, we'll just fold it up. We have to fold it up, and actually I think that this fold here might be needing to be opposite. So let's fold it the opposite way so that we have this flap out. Fold it. That's right. Then we'll fold it, when we fold that down, we'll fold this point down to the second line. Okay. Next, we fold it, Next, right here, so let's see this dynamic here. Next, we're gonna just fold this flap. So you have to have this flap out. We'll fold it, and fold it up here. Same with the other side. You'll fold it up. You'll fold it up there. Voila. All right. So now that we're here, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to now, we're going to actually fold this little corner down here and fold the other little corner down here. So we'll have a little point up. And we're going to fold now our bottom portions. So we're going to take all our folds here. We're going to just fold them up. As you can see, we fold it up here. Then from here, you can actually fold it up one more. Just fold it up as pretty much as possible. From here, we're going to fold up this part. So you can fold it in if you like. I think that works out. Even though it's going to say to fold it about halfway, so let's fold it about halfway so you have like a little chin. And afterward, we'll just fold in one corner. So it'll look like this in the back here. A little fold here, and then this will be an opening. And from here, we're going to actually fold in half from this tippy point. Just fold it in half. And you can do the same for the other side. Just from this tippy point, fold it in half. And then, well, you just take this. If you want to, you just fold it, you combine it in here, and you just stuff that there. And voila. You have a cat ring. So it's a pretty big cat ring. So it looks like it fits my thumb. But as you can see, from here you can design it how you want. Put little eyes on it if you want. And there you go. All right, I champion reading physical books. Reading a physical book has many health benefits, one of which is your brain physically changes when reading a physical book. Long-term health benefits from reading a physical book. The Drunkard's Walk really engages randomness, assessing physics, math, the social dynamics of which one may be operating through. The text is really encouraging one to engage with life within all of the randomness that life involves. One does have control to a fair degree of what one wants one's life to be. Even with such consideration, one is operating through a universe of mysterious happenings, of which align with what one may consider as chance. So the text engages probability in many ways, bringing about different studies to share about probability, to enjoy the mathematics, the mathematical dynamics of which are quite interesting, especially considering how the stages of time, of probability, culturally expand and progress, which involves how societies, cultures engage each other through history, so as to bring about more understanding, more encouragement as to what may be possible through one's life, even with the considerations of probability, chance, and the mysteriousness of the universe, always operating through what may operate as random dynamics. Thank you for joining I Don't Know, We Can Talk About It. Onward and Upward, Dufresne.